is to delete the caption, the bold-faced caption. We believe the defense of our safety and sovereignty is the primary responsibility of the national government, and would replace it with the following. We believe that the primary responsibility of government, local, state, or federal, is to secure to each individual his or her God-given and unalienable right to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness. Included in this primary responsibility is the defense of our safety and sovereignty in a manner that is consistent with the laws of our state and the federal Constitution. The question is on the adoption of the amendment. All those in favor of the amendment, please so signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please so signify by saying nay. Nay. Opinion of the chair, the nays have it, and the motion to adopt the amendment fails. The next proposed amendment, just lettered 1E on your packets if you're following along, would also add a new bullet between the first and second bullets of plank 1. The new bullet would read as follows. We support St. Augustine's just war theory and each nation's sovereign rights to self-defense without first obtaining permission from the United Nations. We support the guidance of the founders of our country in advocating a non-interventionist foreign policy. We oppose subsidizing the defense of other nations while bases are closed here in the United States. We oppose fighting undeclared wars under the United Nations authority without obtaining a congressional declaration of war as required by the U.S. Constitution. Who wishes to speak in support of this amendment? Thank you.
I'd urge everyone here to support this amendment.
Excuse me, state your name, please.
My name is Brent Tweed, North Berwick. I'd urge everybody here to support this amendment to protect our nation's national sovereignty. Our founders advised a non-interventionist foreign policy. Despite what your current opinions may be on the war, is what our founders' advice is, and we should return to a non-interventionist foreign policy. We should not close bases here in the United States and have hundreds of bases all over the world. It doesn't make sense for the security of our country, which should come first. So I'd urge you to join with me in supporting this amendment.
Who wishes to speak in opposition to this amendment? Does anyone wish to speak in opposition?
Good afternoon. Neil Weinstein of Lordship Beach. I think this amendment is kind of ridiculous to be on our platform in the state of Maine. I think it's inappropriate in restricting the Supreme Court and restricting our government to act and protect us and around the world the way this is. And I would urge everyone to vote against this amendment. Thank you.
Would all those in favor of the proposed amendment please rise or raise your hand? Be seated, please. Would all those opposed to the amendment please rise or raise your hand? Be seated. The nays have it. The amendment fails. The next proposed amendment, which has been designated 1F, to the first plank of the platform, would add a new plank after the first plank and before the second plank to the platform, which would read as follows. We believe that the United States Constitution is the supreme law of the land. That would be the caption. We support the restoration of the U.S. Constitution at all levels of the federal government. We oppose judicial activism which acts to subvert and illegally amend the U.S. Constitution and undermines the rule of law. We believe in the framework of the U.S. Constitution to divide powers between the three branches of the federal government and between the states. We believe that the U.S. Constitution grants the federal government specific enumerated powers, and that all powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. We oppose the undermining of the U.S. Constitution by giving illegal authority to the unelected world bodies, and we oppose any attempt at global government. We oppose a central bank, as there is no constitutional authority for the federal government to create one. Who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed amendment?
My name is Brent Tweed of North Berwick. I recommend, or I urge you to support the amendment. to support the U.S. Constitution, and basically, you know, if you support the Constitution, you should support this amendment. Thank you very much.
Who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed amendment?
Here. My name's Eric McVeigh. I'm from Camden, the Bangor area. I rise in opposition to this amendment because it would create an unnecessary burden for you folks, having to add additional planks to the platform, and also having to add additional language and all of that stuff. So I would urge every one of you in this body to defeat this amendment.
Would all those delegates in support of the amendment please rise or raise your hand? Be seated. Would all those delegates opposed to the proposed amendment please rise or raise your hand?
Too close.
Be seated. The opinion of the chair, the nays have it, and the amendment fails. Moves to strike the sentence. However, we believe the proper role of government is to help provide for those who cannot help themselves. Therefore, the plank would read as follows under the proposed amendment. We believe that the best government is that which least. It would then continue with the first bullet. Is there a delegate who wishes to speak in favor of the proposed amendment?
Marty Vashon from Mariahville. Government cannot discern who needs help. Freedom is synonymous with personal responsibility. Socialism dismisses personal responsibility and produces the artificially handicapped, a dehumanizing process. The Constitution was designed to prevent socialism. One nation under God means that we are a Ten Commandments people, an asset to all and a problem to none, a responsible people. One nation under God is designed for traditional families. Socialism dismisses the importance of traditional family. Socialism encourages social breakdown. As socialism fails, we see the shift to totalitarian by government bloating itself and taxing everything, creating hardship and losses for many. The extremes are a socialist totalitarian state that feeds all, jails the unruly, and kills the violent.
Time. Excuse me, I'm sorry, your time has elapsed. Is there a delegate who wishes to speak in opposition to the proposed amendment?
Bill Chapman from Rockport. I was on the committee when we debated this. We felt that it was important to have this in that it demonstrates that we as Republicans are not cold-hearted. We don't throw people out in the snow in the middle of the worst of the winters. We believe that we are in a nation and in a state where we are a firm belief that we are helping neighbor, and that sometimes it is the government that must step in and help the weakest among us. We don't believe that socialism is the right way to go, but there is a true role that government must play. Thank you.
Thank you. Would all delegates in favor of the proposed amendment please rise or raise their hands? Be seated. All delegates opposed to the proposed amendment please rise or raise their hands. Be seated. The nays have it. The motion fails.